It's Saturday morning. I don't normally vlog on Saturdays, but we have a new schedule for this homeschooling year. I actually did a very long vlog where I showed our homeschool curriculum, how we are organizing our time, so like our daily schedule, meal planning. It was all for this channel, and I had issues with the audio with my camera, and so I ended up just putting it on the podcast. So if you're interested in learning about that, if you're a homeschooling parent or you're looking into homeschooling, it might be helpful for you. It's over on my Simple Farmhouse Life YouTube channel, or if you go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts and search Simple Farmhouse Life. So anyways, that is why I am not vlogging in the middle of the week. Usually our Saturdays look a lot different than our school days. They're a lot different from Saturday to Saturday. There's not really a typical pattern. Today we have a few things on the agenda. This morning, Theo is awake. He is eating eggs and some leftovers from my first attempt at sourdough croissants. I am bound and determined to bring sourdough croissants to this channel. This does not look good. Actually, I think somebody picked at this. Let's hope. Okay, but you can see the layers there. The attempt. They're absolutely delicious. So I know that the recipe is good. I'm gonna face the light, there we go. And the lamination, if you're familiar with baking croissants, the lamination was really beautiful. I had issues in the final shaping, and I'm pretty positive I know what I did wrong. So one of the things on my agenda today is to get some of the dough going again so it can ferment for the day while we're gone. Then tomorrow is Sunday, so I'm gonna have to throw it in the fridge, and then I'm not sure when I'm gonna laminate it. That's the thing. We have a busy week next week too, so I just feel like I need to get the ball rolling. And if the dough has to rest in the fridge for a day or two, well then that's okay. That's what we're just gonna have to try. It is still bright and early. Theo woke up at 4:45, and the reason for that is my 2-year-old, he was recently potty trained about 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more than that. And he woke up because he had to go to the bathroom. And that is the worst part about potty training, because he was yelling. Normally, you know, he just would go in his diaper, and then that woke up the baby, and so we found ourselves up before 5 o'clock. I've just been sitting here sipping coffee. Luke and the older kids are at a camp out at church, so they should be getting home, I don't know, probably around 7 or so for milking chores. I am going to shape some bagels for our adventure today that I'm excited to take you on. I'm gonna go for croissant attempt number 2. Got my super bubbly, active sourdough starter that I fed last night. Anybody knows what I forgot? It's just a little important. I mean, I was like, why does my dough look so dry? Recipe testing on camera is not something I'm typically doing. All right, this has been going a good long while, and it's finally pulling away from the sides and looking glossy. So it's looking just about how I want it. This is a step that ones that use instant yeast, recipes for that, usually skip this fermentation step. I mean, obviously, because it's yeast. The reason I'm doing this step is for the fermentation health benefits. So hopefully that's not where this recipe went wrong. I don't think it is. I'm just hoping that it's possible to long ferment dough and then turn it into croissants. that's what I am attempting. What's good about recipe testing is what you end up with is always very edible. It's always good and edible. And so no matter what, we will eat this. But I'm hoping that the end result is something that I can share on my blog and here on YouTube and really beautiful, obviously. That's my goal. Okay, so this is a nice wet but glossy smooth dough. Probably could use just like a tiny bit more kneading, but it's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna let this rise covered for the day, and then I'll see how the evening goes. It's probably gonna go in the fridge overnight, and then I might try doing my laminating tomorrow and then shape and photograph. So we'll see how that all shakes out, but at least got the process started. Got a Walmart delivery order this morning, scheduled for early, so we can leave. So what do we got? I got these puffs because this week, actually this next week, so Monday, we're going on a trip. Well, myself, my 2 daughters, and Theodore are going on a trip. And this is for him on the airplane. I got the unsalted butter for my croissants, and then I also just got this for us. All right, I got some potatoes, some socks for my husband, Band-Aids because we've been out, and Velcro for a project I'm doing in Theodore's room, which I either already shared about. Yes. Yeah, this is coming out probably. I'm finishing up that project now, so I already made most of the video, but that is coming out before. So see last video if you want to know what this Velcro is for. I always like to get cheese from Walmart because they have that organic cheddar. So we're trying to decide if we're going to stop by Aldi on the way and get salami, because I forgot to get salami, and salami is so much better on bagels, or if we'll just use turkey and cheese if we're in a hurry. Turkey cheese is probably good enough, right?
Making
4 shots of espresso with maple syrup and milk for when we need our coffee fix later today.
Oh boy.
I guess you're right, the ice is gonna melt. Oh well. Maybe we want to drink it immediately, or at least some of it.
I'll be tempted.
Tempted. Right, we are all loaded up, and we are going to be heading to look at a cabin near a lake. It's about 3 hours away from where we live, so hopefully we like it. Luke and I have been looking for something like that, either something near a lake or a river, just a way for us to do some kind of family vacationing. This is not like a fancy place at all. It's an unfinished cabin, but on a regular basis, it's so inconvenient with having the farm and so many children that we really want to find something ideally 6 hours or less. We actually looked quite a bit in Lake Michigan if we would go north. So we're looking at that too, but everything up there is very pricey. So we are going to go see if this is a good potential. I don't know how much I can film of it because, you know, it's obviously not our cabin, but I'll probably film the surrounding area. We also have thought about if it was a place that was sort of touristy, like if it was Lake Michigan, which again, it's more pricey, so it'd have to be more of an investment. Doing something like an Airbnb would be really cool. This one, I don't really know. We'd have to do a lot to make it that because it's in a very rural area to the point where I think getting there is kind of hard, and then also getting amenities. Like, it doesn't have water and it doesn't have internet. So we have to figure out how we could get that stuff if we wanted to open it up to the public for an Airbnb. But that is something that we are definitely considering. We've looked at a lot of places just online that we thought about for that, but nothing has been a solid contender. We actually one thing was, there was a house that we thought about turning into an Airbnb that we put an offer on, but the market is still crazy here, and so we did not get that. But we are definitely thinking about the whole Airbnb thing, and then also for us, for recreational purposes. All right, making a little pit stop here in Caledonia. Oh yeah, we've been to Caledonia before. If you live in Missouri, this is a place to go because it's just a cute little town.
It's one of our favorite places for adventure days, that's for sure.
It is, it's very cute.
Oh, there's a hot dog out. They already had lunch. I know, but it's a hot dog.
We're gonna go across the street. We will.
What did it say?
It's the Old Village Mercantile.
What'd you say?
Mercantile. We crossing? We're crossing, y'all. Because they're cute.
Why in the world is there people?
I'm always super inspired by the painted floors here. These look like rugs, but it's not. It's just paint.
Mom, the
I
bathrooms
know, I love it. It's an ice cream shop slash a candy shop slash an antique shop.
Wait, it's not this place. This attraction, see, this tourist has been here her whole life. Is that right?
Look at this. I love this. Look at this pretty rug. We could figure out how to do this somewhere in our house.
Yeah, you could probably set me on it and just have me like. I think it looks great with all the squares. You just need to do a lot of measuring.
Everybody make a decision.
Is that coffee?
Coffee ice cream?
I want
Got your ice cream. I got my spool. I thought this would be fun for, I always use this string, and so having a display of it in the kitchen would be lovely. Oh 11 total miles on gravel.
and it's 30 minutes. I thought it was 12.
Was it 12 miles on gravel? Okay.
Yeah.
12 miles on gravel. He thought he spied a chanterelle mushroom. Good eye. Really good eye. Wow. Smells so good.
They're not the ones we usually get.
They
So,
aren't? Why?
No,
Which kind
'cause
of
they're
They have the fruity smell.
There's
Yeah,
a
the
smooth-
cinnabar.
There's a
Look,
smooth
this is the smooth one, right?
underside, and then there's a gilled underside.
Those are the poisonous lookalikes for chanterelles. Jack-o'-lanterns. You don't want to eat those.
I don't even know what color it is supposed to be.
This is turning into a foraging vlog.
There's a pink kind and a white kind. This seems like a brown kind, so I don't know. It must be kind of an older
Can I see the
specimen,
mushroom?
but they're kind of cool.
Picture on here. That's picture worthy. It's gorgeous. Pretty.
Where did the baby go?
Baby goat. You mean a calf?
Is that the baby goat? There's a cow.
Oh, did you bring in the chanterelles too?
No, I did not.
Did you guys carry in everything from the van?
I haven't, but
Here's the chanterelles. Chicken of the woods.
Chicken of the woods.
Right, I wanted to give you an update on that cabin. We had a fun adventure day as a family, of course. We ended up stopping in a couple small towns and going into antique shops and all that fun stuff. And then we got to check out the cabin. And then we also, along the road to the cabin, which I'm gonna get to, kind of about that road, we found lots of mushrooms, which was fun. We found some chanterelles. We love foraging for them. They're our favorite mushroom. Several years ago, Luke and I got really into learning about the wild edibles in our area. We went to some Missouri Mycological Society meetings and we got books and we went to some forays. And so we're pretty confident in all of that and knowing some of the edibles here in Missouri. But like with anything that comes to wild edibles, you will want to learn about your own state and your own country, because something that can look the same as something here that's edible could be not, or could be poisonous. And also, of course, there's so much that you can't see. So anyways, that's a little side tangent to say that foraging is a cool thing to learn about if you find your local mycological society, so you can learn under experts. Back to the cabin. We loved the cabin itself. I really wish I could have gotten some footage. I didn't want to really impose because we hadn't bought it yet, and it turns out we're actually not going to buy it. But the cabin itself was so cool. This guy had built it and he wasn't quite done with it, so he was selling it because he got injured and so he couldn't finish it up. Loved the cabin itself. The gravel road really threw us. With it being a 13, or I think it was 12 or 13 miles on a gravel road, we decided that that was not gonna work for us. Now I debated on whether I'd share this next part, but my daughters and I have the opportunity to go to New York City. A few weeks ago, my mom and my sister, we met up with them at a farmer's market, and they were casually talking about how they're gonna go to New York City, which they do this a lot. My sister, who is 11 years younger than me, she's been there 10 times. She travels all over the world, and my mom goes with her quite a bit. They just planned a really quick, impromptu, couple weeks away trip to New York City, and they said, hey, you should go along. And so I was like, oh yeah, I should, haha. And then later on I got to thinking, and I'm like, you know what? My sister knows New York City. She's been there 10 times. My daughters have never been there. I've never been there. I would never want to attempt it without somebody who knew what they were doing. This might be the perfect opportunity, just something that my kids will remember forever, to take them and explore historical things like the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island, all these cultural things you hear about like Times Square, and then also just see what it's like in a massive city. So I decided that, you know what? Let's do it. So I texted my sister and I said, were you serious about me tagging along with my 3 children? Because I needed to bring Theodore as well because he's still nursing. And I plan to just leave the 4 boys home with Luke. And they said, yes, of course you could actually come. So I booked some flights and I said, as long as Laura, that's my other sister, has her baby before then, because she was due at the end of August, I will go. Turns out Laura did have her baby. If you want to check out her birth story, it was a good one because only me and her husband were there. She had an unassisted birth, so I was very happy to be there for her for that. And we were able to still go on with our trip to New York City. So since that's happening tomorrow, I'm gonna share that in this vlog as well. You're getting sort of a week in the life. My friend Jay Morrill from Jay Morrill Stewart, or Large Family Table, she does these videos all the time where she just carries the camera around and just captures moments here and there throughout her week, and she calls them a week in the life. I love that idea and I want to do them more often. They're very unplanned, unscripted. She just films key moments and does like a week in the life video. So I'd like to do more of these, but this week you're getting an extra exciting one. One, we went and looked at a cabin we were maybe gonna buy. That was kind of average. And then now we're going to New York City. So join me. Are you excited, Johanna?
Yeah, take a picture for Eli and Jim. I get excited.
Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey, darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey, darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for two. Hey, darling, you know we're gonna have a really good time, driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright. Pack our bags and get in that car. Leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Yeah, we only get one life. I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
We are back home and I want to share a few thoughts about our trip to New York City. I have to admit that I had so many stereotypes in my head. I've never been to New York City. I'm so glad that we went. I learned a lot of things. I saw a lot of sights that we really enjoyed seeing. Even learning about the New York subway system and how that works and how efficient it is to move millions of people around every single day. We found ourselves using the subway constantly. I did not think that we would, but it is just the most convenient, easy way to get around New York City. I also learned that there are a lot of friendly people in New York City. We have these stereotypes, you know, about people across the country, and Midwesterners, we have lots of stereotypes about us too. One is that we are not necessarily just friendly, and I think it's the South that has the friendly reputation, but that we are very, like, we go out of our way to talk to people and almost obnoxiously, like it would be considered sort of rude how much we would just spark up a conversation. Well, we met so many people in New York City. We met people who were born and raised there. We had one lady on the, I think it was the bus, not the subway. She was probably in her 80s and she was born and raised in New York City, and she wanted us to follow her to a bakery. She wanted to show us her whole area where she lived. We followed this lady around. She was so nice. I met a few more people who were born and raised in New York City who, you know, gave us recommendations, who we had a waiter at a restaurant, a little diner, who was so nice. Theo got a lot of attention. So many people thought he was adorable and came up to tell us so. There were areas that weren't that crowded. I thought that everywhere we went in New York City would just be swarming with people, and if you're from New York City, you're probably laughing at my assessment of all of this. But again, all I had was stereotypes. First 2 days, I loved it. We were all just really enjoying pointing out each building that we'd heard of, Googling like how high are the skyscrapers and comparing them, and just basically staring at the view of the city and marveling at how much infrastructure and detailed, beautiful buildings. That was all so fun. I will say by about day 3, Theodore, I carried him around on my back the entire trip. He didn't sleep very well because it was a really tiny hotel room, because another thing I learned, everything is tiny in New York City. Even the escalators are like half the width that they are here. Everything's small. The hotel room was small. There really wasn't any good place to put Theo because I didn't bring a stroller. I just had him on my back the whole time. So I was tired. Theo wanted out. We were ready to go and we were ready to come home, and we're happy to be home. But it was a great experience. I really enjoyed just checking out the city and seeing something so different than what I'm used to seeing here, tasting some really great food, and generally just enjoying time with my mom, my sister, and my 2 girls. We had a great time. All right, well, thanks for following along with this very random week in the life vlog. Let me know if you like vlogs like this. As always, thank you so much for watching. And if you're brand new, please hit that subscribe. Thank you so much for stopping by our farmhouse.